Welcome to Study Loop.
For a reason to explain why vertebrate animals evolved an adaptive immune system as opposed to an innate immune system involving specific responses to specific pathogens. So basically the question is asking what are the advantages of having an adaptive immune system that obviously has specificity for very specific pathogens, B cells and T cells, once they are activated, as opposed to an innate immune system that could somehow have specific responses to specific pathogens. Let's just go down the list and see which statements are true. A states that an adaptive immune system requires an immense amount of information to be stored, which allows vertebrate cells to respond, to be able to mount specific responses to every pathogen. So the wording of this answer says that an adaptive immune system requires an immense amount of information. That's not necessarily something that an organism, when it is evolving, wants. We want to be as efficient as possible with information storage, and we don't want to expend any more energy than we need to. So the question here doesn't sound like a reason why an adaptive immune system was developed in vertebrate animals. B states that as new pathogens evolve all the time, it is more conservative of energy and information storage to have an adaptive immune system that can respond to same pathogens in different ways. So an immune system, in the adaptive immune system, we obviously have antibodies and then cytotoxic T cells and CD4 T cells, but it says that the adaptive immune system can respond to the same pathogen in different ways. So these two ways are going to be the same. So if we have a pathogen, let's say streptococcus, for example, it's going to respond, the body first, when it first meets, it's going to attack it with antibodies and then T cells. And if we have a second exposure to it, it's still going to have the same launch the same types of attacks. So to say that the adaptive immune system responds to same pathogens in different ways is not true. It is specific, but it is always the same type of response with antibody production and CD4 cytotoxic T cells. C states that as new pathogens evolve, it is obviously more conservative of energy and information storage to have an adaptive immune system that can respond to different pathogens in a specific way. So yes, so if we have different pathogens, let's say streptococcus and a different, let's say a fungus, for example, the adaptive immune system responds to these different pathogens in very specific ways. The antibody produced by this pathogen, streptococcus, will be different than the one produced in response to a fungus. So C sounds correct. And D says that so it is more conservative of energy and information to have an adaptive immune system that can respond to different pathogens in a non-specific way. So no, it is very specific. The antibodies are very specific for each different pathogen. So D would be incorrect. So we can confidently say that the answer to this is as new pathogens evolve all the time, it's going to be more conservative of energy and information storage to have an adaptive immune system that can respond to different pathogens in a specific way, as opposed to having an innate system that has specific responses to specific pathogens. Every time there's a different pathogen, the innate immune system would have to launch an attack, and that is much more time consuming than having an adaptive immunity, an immune response where these cells remain dormant, are all produced, and then one is called upon as soon as the pathogen, the specific pathogen is identified and targeted for attack, as opposed to the innate immune system, where if we did have specific responses to specific pathogens, this would be launched every single time a new pathogen arrives in the body. So therefore, the